Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, bringing you Bleach chapter 636, Sensitive Monster. So in the previous chapter, Lototo and Giselle got killed by Yolbak. A bit disappointing that we didn't get to see the finishing blow, but at least the fight wasn't going to last for like 5 to 10 chapters. Jar Valkyrie kept getting lost and had no opponents to fight. Lilibaro was sniping down Shinigami from the Shinigami's group, including Shuhei. I swear to God, Kubo, if you kill him off before we get the chance to see his Bankai. Askin was still on the run by Grimjow, but he was able to poison him with a gift ball. As for Ichigo's group, they split up to search for Grimjow. Not a good idea, but whatever. And Kenpachi and Mayuri, who have now become my favorite duo ever, encounters Pernditta. While Pernditta was able to twist and break Kenpachi's arm, Kenpachi managed to give Pernditta a cut on the head, but that just only pissed off the Stern Reacher, and its head expands and these lines come out of its body. Now this week's chapter continues right where it left off, and according to Mayuri, it seems that Pernditta was going through some sort of metamorphosis. With Ikaku, Yumichika, and Nemu, they were staying back, letting their captains deal with Pernditta, Yumichika stating that they would get in the way, even though Ikaku was bummed that they weren't going to participate in the fight. Kenpachi's mangled arm suddenly starts to twist around and around, getting mangled up even further, so he decides, fuck it, I'm just gonna rip off my own arm, which he does. Okay, not gonna lie, that was pretty cool. But then again, this was also the same guy that survived in freaking space when he fought against Grammy. So, yeah, tearing off his own arm is no problem. But what makes it badass is that he wasn't yelling in pain because, you know, tearing off your own arm has to be very painful. So, yeah, Kenpachi, badass. So he steps on his arm, grabs his Zanpakuto back from its hand, breaking a couple of its fingers by the way, and the arm is still continuing to contort itself to the point where it's nothing more than a puddle of blood. Mayuri gives Kenpachi kudos for ripping off his own arm, because if he didn't do that, then his whole body would have also been contorted until he's mashed and squashed into a tough, tasteless mountain of meatballs. Mayuri's words, not my own. However, Kenpachi couldn't tell if Mayuri was just insulting him or complimenting him. Okay, seriously, these two are great together. Not only are they funny together, but I really love the banter between the two. Mayuri still doesn't know what Pernditta's ability is just yet, so he suggests that they should keep their distance from the thing. That way Mayuri can figure out a way to counter Pernditta's ability, but it will take some time to come up with a counter. As for Kenpachi, he has his wound tended to by Nemu. But once Nemu was finished, Kenpachi goes in again, trying to attack Pernditta. Oh boy. Okay, don't get me wrong, I like Kenpachi and all, it's just that Mayuri was in the right here. I mean, slicing and dicing your opponent is definitely not the best strategy right now, but this is Kenpachi we're dealing with, and he figures why not cut Pernditta in two before Pernditta uses the compulsory ability. Well, he did manage to land a hit on Pernditta's head, but it was hard to tell whether Pernditta was injured from that attack or not. Well, one thing's for sure, Kenpachi's legs then starts to contort and twist just like his arm. Then he gets stabbed from behind by Mayuri's Ashisogi Jizo just to prevent his legs from getting contorted any further. However, if one stops the limbs from getting mangled by Pernditta's compulsory ability, the rest of the body will snap instead, as we see Kenpachi's head starts to twist and snap as well. So Mayuri decides to activate a new ability that we haven't seen from his shikai Ashisogi Jizo called Kyoudoyon, which means Fear Factor 4, where he uses his thumb to gouge the eye of the baby face on his Zanpakuto, causing the eye to bleed and the face to scream. It's very creepy and disturbing, I'm not gonna lie. And apparently this scream can paralyze anyone that hears it for more than 4 seconds. So that's why Yumichika and Ikaku had to cover their ears. But here's the thing, Nemu's ears weren't covered, so how is she not affected by Kyoudoyon? Anyway, not only was Kenpachi affected by the paralysis, but also Pernditta. And Mayuri was able to figure out Pernditta's compulsory ability, and that is its nerves. According to Mayuri, Pernditta sends its own nerves to infiltrate the enemy's body and forcibly manipulate their movements. So that explains what those black lines that we saw at the end of the previous chapter were. They were Pernditta's nerves. But there's something that's been bugging me about this. Now, this is an interesting ability for Pernditta, but we've never seen it use its own nerves before. This is the first time we've seen that. The previous times that Pernditta uses the compulsory ability only showed Pernditta mumbling a couple words and then the bodies would suddenly twist. we didn't see it use its nerves the previous times. So I believe that the compulsory ability works in both ways, both mumbling a few words and using Pernditta's nerves. Since this is the first time we've seen Pernditta using its nerves, I'm assuming that this is a second level of the compulsory ability, or half of a combined version of the compulsory ability. I mean, Mayuri did say that it was going through a metamorphosis at the beginning of this chapter. Anyway, Pernditta tries to attack Mayuri with its own nerves, but Mayuri was able to use this liquid to splash onto the nerves before it got the chance to touch Mayuri, and whatever that liquid was that touched Pernditta's nerves made it scream in pain. Mayuri does his signature smile, saying that he's quite fascinated by the ability and he plans to savor the sense of enjoyment slowly, since he has countless quantity of drugs that can be applied on the nervous system. Yep, that's Mayuri for you, the freaking mad scientist. By the way, what was that liquid that Mayuri used? Because whatever it was, Pernditta wasn't looking too good. Well, whatever it was, it just made Pernditta even angrier, at least I'm assuming it did. It's really hard to tell as the hood starts to tear off, revealing, well, nothing really, because that's where the chapter ends, unfortunately. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 636. What did I think? I thought this was a pretty decent chapter. I know fans of Kenpachi would be disappointed that he got damaged this badly, but at least we get to see a bit of his badassness when he tears off his freaking arm. I mean, that was pretty cool. But I believe the reason why Kenpachi was so damaged like this was to see how powerful Pernditta really is. As for Pernditta's ability, it is an interesting concept that Mayuri came up with, but it's a bit iffy to me because we've seen Pernditta use its compulsory ability in a different way. As for Mayuri, he was pretty good in this chapter, and we get to see a new ability from his shikai, Ashisogi Jizo. And honestly, he is a perfect match against Pernditta, but I don't know how long this fight is going to last. I mean, Pernditta is one of the 4 elite guards that took down Squad Zero, and I'm worried that Pernditta will get downgraded slightly so that Mayuri can defeat it. But then again, we don't know what Pernditta's Volstandig might be. I don't know if Pernditta will activate it, but it's a possibility. And I know next week's chapter we'll finally see what Pernditta really looks like. That's something I'm looking forward to, so I'm hoping its true form isn't going to be something anticlimactic. I'm a bit bummed that Ikkaku, Yumichika, and Nemu aren't going to participate in this fight, which is understandable why, but I don't know, I was hoping that these 3 might get some sort of role in this battle, or maybe they'll get another battle later on. What I also appreciated in this chapter was that Mayuri and Kenpachi were fighting against an opponent where you can't merely slice and dice to win. Which there's nothing wrong with that, it's just that I appreciate fights more when you use your wits. Although this makes me really wish that Kenpachi fought against Jiraiya and Valkyrie because I really want to see these 2 fight against each other. So yeah, overall, pretty decent chapter, and I'm looking forward to next week. I don't know if Pernditta is going to be defeated next week, but I'm kind of hoping not. But I am looking forward to seeing what Mayuri is going to come up with. So tell me guys, what do you think of this week's chapter of Bleach? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Any ideas as to what Pernditta's true form really is? And how do you think Mayuri is going to pull off a victory here? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe to our videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 636. I'm Lunar Spalm 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye!